Okay, here we go. Hey, you guys. See if I can move this down here. Okay, so I just wanted to come to you this week with a trade recap on how I made 3,000% on this trade. Um, Coming to you from my garage again. So let's get straight to it. So we're talking about CRM. Please excuse whatever that is in my background. If y'all can hear it, it is extremely loud. It does not even sound like a bird. I don't know what it is. It sounds like a frog. Anyway, CRM. So let's first start on the 4 hour. Okay, so one thing I want to point out is that, this is Friday, here's Thursday. I was watching it from Wednesday. Okay. Now, we had this period here where we were just kind of consolidating for a little while, and I knew that we were going to break in one direction or the other. So, on the day that was about right here on Wednesday, yep, it made this three on the day. So, the EMAs had crossed for me, and it's something that I do also look at. My competition is back. I do also look at. So, I was looking for a possible three, whatever, to either go for this gap or to move back down. Either way, somewhere, some way to move out of this range. Okay, so back on the 4 hour, and I'm on the 4 hour here because it was a short trade for me. It was mostly an overnight swing, but the trigger for me for this play was the weekly two down, two up over 173 here and filling that weekly gap. So, good gracious. As you can see, I started watching it here to break above, and then on Thursday, that's when it broke above. So, on Thursday, based on the relative strength of this, I bought three 180 contracts for $13 a piece. If I can figure out how to pin that on here somewhere, I will do that. I'm getting better, y'all. I'm going to figure it out. But based on this strength, I was looking for it to fill this gap and possibly move to, the 3-2, two up, and make it to this target here. So that was the plan. That was my target. And I was fully prepared to lose all of it because it was about 40 bucks. So, I didn't mind. I played the next day's contract and I was ready in the beginning, well, in the morning to stop myself out if this reversed on me because it could have also done the 3-2-2 reversal. So as you can see, we gapped up and it was a 3-2-2 on the 4 hour and on the day. So that's one of the good things about it that also kept me in this trade. So once we broke above this broadening formation that I had here, this may have been redrawn. I'm not actually quite sure why I had that here. Oh, I think it was for this. Oh, that was the downtrend it was breaking out of in a week. Actually, you guys, I'm not sure why that line was there. Oh yes, this was a previous downtrend that I had not taken off. So we see the first time it broke out of that downtrend, came back, and broke out again. So this could keep going or it could do the same repeat that it did. But anyway, so once we did that, going down on a shorter time frame, what kept me in this trade was the continuations. I didn't add to it or anything, but by this point, I was in the money because I had bought the 180s. So, I could hold basically. And what happened was I moved my stops up, and that's what I normally do. I'll go down to either a 15 or a 30 minute, and I will move my stops up. As you can see, it was really riding this line nicely. So once it did its move and then started moving sideways, I put my stop right up under here, under the AEMA. And of course, I got stopped out. And then it continued to go. So this contract actually ended the day at $700. So I left some money on the table for sure, because this consolidation is I pushed my stop up because I didn't have time for it to consolidate all day and eat at the contract's value. So I went ahead and put my stop there, got stopped out. I was okay with it, but I definitely did leave some on the table, probably a couple $100, $300 almost. But still, just goes to show, the patience can work, and continue monitoring your position on, lower time frames, and you see that it doesn't reverse. This is still has strength. One thing I did learn back in the day was noticing patterns. So I have learned to see the strength of a candle, and so the 212 right here, a fake out three, and then it kept right on going. So there's a lot of strength in this chart. That's what kept me in there. All right, so next we're going to talk about SPY. SPY is Bay. And so SPY, I played as on Friday. So this was for this Friday move when we broke above. We finally broke above this bear market resistance. Yes, I'm gonna call it that because I've been screaming about this 380 level for a long time. But these weekly gaps were just like really loud. So SPY went for that gap, and that's kind of what I was thinking it was gonna do. So for me, the trigger was, and I had posted this on Twitter, was this 3-2. And knowing that this broadening formation was here, it was either going to have some strength and break out and expand it, or it was going to reject again and give us the 3-2 down, 3-2-2 down. So I was looking to play it either way. I don't really like continuations, but again, SPY is Bay, so it would be something that I would play on a shorter time frame. So um, it was just really a two up. It wasn't really much. It was that trigger above the 383. The fact that it held above that bear market level for me, and so I was in here. I got in at open. So, ooh, yikes. Okay. So yeah, so at open when we did this rejection and then came back up, I went ahead and jumped in. But I bought a Monday contract because I had a feeling that SPY was going to do this all day. And that's exactly what it did. I have gotten clapped enough times with SPY doing that, with me buying 0 days, that I stopped doing that. I believed in the strength of the chart. My target was that weekly gap. And so I bought a Monday contract. So basically, I didn't get completely torn up here. And then this final push, like the old days, SPY used to do, I used to say SPY do the thing. Because in like the last 30 minutes or last 10 minutes, SPY would just boom out of nowhere. Apple too. Of course, if Apple moves SPY. So, but it would just boom out of nowhere. So it did that. And so I sold this at close for the maximum profit. That was like super dope. And then cost cost was beautiful. I had posted this on Twitter. One of my favorite setups is, well, actually, this is not one of my favorite setups. This is a setup I really don't do all the time. But if you know the strat, you know the setup. The setup pays. It's a 1-2-2 rep strat on the week. It pays. Your target is the one, the top of that candle, right? So what signaled this for me was this inside day. Y'all know I love inside days. Those are my favorite days. And a lot of times, because it can go either way, it can trigger certain things on a week. Like it makes you, that's one thing you should look at when you're looking at an inside day. Look at how it is on the week, because that inside day could trigger something else on the week. Even more confidence in your play. So I was looking for this 2-1 break in either direction. Um, I'll start pre-market bearish, and then the market opens and the market gives me what it gives me, and I'm bullish. So that's why another reason why I like inside bars is it can go either way. But I knew that this 2-1, if it broke for the two up, it was going to break that weekly and give us even more confirmation that this was going to be bullish and push towards this target of 484 once it broke above 464, which is when I posted about that. It's about right there. So it gapped up on Thursday, and I played that on Thursday. Of course, this was the target. Now I had this broad information here, so what happened was I think on this day I got shook out. This is 2-1 because I played this twice. This is 23rd. Yes. So I got shook out here. But then when it reversed, I got in as a swing and pushed it out to next week just to complete that target because it had a 1 2 on the day and a 2-1 on the 4 hour. So on the strength, of rolling it over to complete that move, and then as you can see, it did. Now that actually happened first thing in the morning. We gapped up, and boom, I sold because we hit the target, and we hit the top of that broadening formation. So I knew that we were going to reverse, which is what we did. Consolidated for a little while, and actually looks like it might still try to push through. It's a really good looking chart. But I played cost later in the week because it's cheaper. Um, Expensive stocks like this, I like to play like on a Thursday or on a Friday when those weekly contracts are cheaper if it decides which direction it's going. Because with an ATR of $14, I mean, you can play out the money and capitalize on the move. So, and then the last one was QQQ. And this was like really similar to SPY. It's like the same thing. Um, One thing I want to note is again, I was taught with EMAs and with patterns. So those are things that I see still, but I execute and plan based on the strat. So, I don't base my plan on indicators or patterns. It's based on the strat, period. It's based on what the candles are telling me. But I don't negate the other things that I was taught. And I think that as long as, you still execute with the strat, then that's fine. So for me, it was this inverse head and shoulders here on the 4 hour. When SPY was doing this right here, it's not so much on the day. It's kind of sort of if you know how to look what to see with the inverse head and shoulders. It's a shoulder, head, shoulder, right? So shoulder, head, shoulder. So for me, even with the inverse head and shoulders or with the head and shoulders, the strat always has me prepared for it to fail. Inverse head and shoulders can fail. Like if you see this pattern, I wouldn't. Back in the old days, I would have. Oh, it's time to buy calls. No, me now it's time to see is it going to fail or is it going to play out. And so the inverse head and shoulders, as you can see here, played out. And so it was. Let's see on daily, we had that 3-2. Jumped in and rode that up, and it went straight to that next target. That was just absolutely beautiful. So that is my recap basically for this week. Um, didn't really have anything else. What else did I play? Did I play anything else? I did play Zom. I played Zom. I wanted to talk about Zom because Zom was beautiful. This actually was my best trade this month. I don't know how I just forgot about talking about this. But y'all see this SSS 50 thing right here? Yeah, this thing is super cool because it can help keep you in a trade or out of a trade. Um, just letting you know that it's active, if it's done, if it's about to trigger, if it's not working. Like, it's a really cool indicator. It's called the SSS50 status. It's one of the things I get asked about a lot. SSS50 status. Also, this indicator down here with the ATR and full time frame continuity actionable signal is called the Strat Teach V2. V is in Victor, 2. Okay. All right. So, talking about Zon, like I said, we almost did this outside month. Yes, that's right. We didn't quite get to it, but that was okay. We wrote it down. So I had first noticed Zom triggering this when it did the two up, two down on the week, right? That was at 98.66, and I said, okay. Before I had tried to play an outside month on Zom, and it kind of faked out on me. So I was like, okay, well, I'll be cautious, but we know that this first target right here is this 95.86, right? So we weren't at the 50% mark yet. But when it did this two down, I was in there. So I played it down there and it actually kept going. That was like really crazy, right? So actually it kept going to the point where I said, okay, well now we've triggered the 50% on the month. By then I had like rolled it over. I had been playing it from here, the two down on the week, and then I played it and then I got stopped out here and then got back in to finish that uh, outside month. Because once I got stopped out, but it didn't push up back up to even the trigger or anything. The strength of the downtrend on that, plus the time frame continuity had flipped to red. It kept me in this trade basically to finish the outside month. So that's a little tip if you are playing something for like an outside month, and even if you have time, if you get stopped out, roll it over or get back in. Especially if you see, this is corrective activity right here. You can either get stopped out or add to your position and keep going for the move down. And it almost like, oh, that was nice how I got there. 83.40. That was the actual target, and it didn't quite make it, but it got really, really close. And when it actually bounced off of it, like right here. Yes, this was on Thursday. Yep. When it bounced off of there, I got out because I said, you know what, it's pennies, and I've definitely gotten clapped before trying to go to the exact target. And when you draw these lines, unless you like really zoom all the way in, you may be off by a few pennies. Actually, this thing told me 83.40. I think that's what I remember. Yeah, this one. But, I have had times where I have drawn it before. That was before I had this awesome script. But when I had drawn it myself and the line may have been off, I'm looking for it to go a few more cents and it doesn't. And meanwhile, there's gains I could have had. So it's not worth it. So, anyway, that's all I have for you guys. I hope y'all have a profitable week. I'm going on vacation soon and I can't wait. Peace.